Formula One heads to Monza for the last European race of the year, the Italian Grand Prix. So this is our last stop on the European calendar as well before the flyaway begins. 2 weeks time, we're in Singapore, Japan, back to back as well with it. Then a 2-week break before we go over to the United States and Mexico. A further 2 weeks break, and then Brazil and Abu Dhabi round out the 2022 season. In terms of the Drivers' Championship, 109-point advantage Max Verstappen holds over that of both Charles Leclerc and Sergio Perez, who are level on points. George Russell is in 4th now, just ahead of Carlos Sainz in 5th. Lewis Hamilton is closing up on that battle as well in 6th position. He's well clear now of Lando Norris, who's well clear of Esteban Ocon, who is in a battle with his teammate Fernando Alonso, and Valtteri Bottas at Alfa Romeo rounding out the top 10. The second half of the page sees Kevin Magnussen 2 points clear of Sebastian Vettel, a point clear of Daniel Ricciardo, who's a point clear of Pierre Gasly. Further back in 15th as well, Mick Schumacher's on 12 points, battling Yuki Tsunoda's on 11, 5 points apiece for Zhou Guanyu and Lance Stroll, 4 points for Alexander Albon, still no points for Nicholas Latifi, and Nico Hulkenberg only completing 2 races at the start of the year. In the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull now have a massive lead in the championship, 511 points to Ferrari's 376. Mercedes are only 30 points back. They are closing them down in 3rd position. Alpine are in a battle on their own as well. McLaren 24 points back from them, but they are 50 clear exactly of Alfa Romeo in 6th position, who are in a battle with Haas and AlphaTauri. Joining that battle last time out though, Aston Martin with Stroll getting points. Williams are 10th with 4 points, all coming the way from Alexander Albon. It's Saturday morning and it's practice 3 for the Italian Grand Prix. Let's take a look around Monza, a 3.599 mile circuit, 11 corners. Been on the calendar now ever since the beginning, only missed 1 race, and it's celebrating its 100th year. Starting at the exit of the Parabolica, it's an important step to get a good exit and carry the speed all the way down as you start the lap, down towards turn 1, the Rettifilo from 8th gear at 350 kilometers an hour, brake down all the way to 2nd gear at 90 kilometers an hour. Tight exit as well as you approach the Cur de Grande as well. Rise up again at the exit of turn 3. You're doing 7th gear, 295. Before you come into the Dalla Roggia chicane, you brake from 8th gear, 330 kilometers an hour, down into 3rd gear at 130 kilometers an hour. Rising up to the 2 Lesmos then, the Curva di Lesmo 1, 5th gear, 200 kilometers an hour. The 2nd Lesmo slightly banked on the way in as well, 6th gear, 270. Rising now down the straight with the DRS open as well. You reach maximum once again, all the way 8th gear, 305 kilometers an hour as you approach the braking zone. Once again into the Ascari chicane, down into 5th gear, 240 at the exit. Down the back straightaway now towards the Parabolica. You have no DRS, you're relying completely on ERS as you come down. Once again, 8th gear, 340 miles an hour, down, brake, 6th gear, 270 kilometers. Ride the exit as well of the Parabolica. Don't go over the white line or your lap time will be deleted. And that is a blast around the Temple of Speed. Hello everybody and welcome to the 3rd practice session for the 2022 Italian Grand Prix here at Monza. Now, we've got a little bit of breaking news for you before we cross over as well and start the session. Alexander Albon is out for the remainder of the weekend after consulting with the FIA doctors and going to the local hospital as well here at Monza. He has been ruled out of the weekend due to appendicitis. We wish him a very speedy recovery as well. And that means that in the Williams seat, replacing him alongside Nicholas Latifi, is the Formula E Season 7 World Champion, Nick De Vries as well. So another world champion on the grid from a different series. Nick De Vries makes his Formula One debut with Williams this weekend as well. And he's not being thrown in the deep end. We're just having one practice session, then followed again by another qualifying the race. He is the official reserve driver for Williams, but also he's already done a free practice session this weekend. He did free practice 1 with Aston Martin as well yesterday as well. So he's actually got an understanding of this track in a similarly Mercedes-powered car. So hopefully it shouldn't be too much of a negative for him out there today. Let's go over to the YouTube chat quickly as well. As you can see, get in touch at JoshuaH99 on Twitter and Instagram as well. Got 8 minutes to go until the start of the session. SHT says as well, I'll have to put my glasses on for this. Wow man, Nick De Vries replacing Alexander Albon for this weekend. This is like the 2017 Hungarian Grand Prix weekend as well, where Massa fails to fall sick and Di Resta steps in for him Saturday last minute for Williams. Absolutely is identical case as well. This time it's Alexander Albon who unfortunately has become too ill. So Albon with appendicitis, we'll see him again shortly as well. And we're just getting ready for the start of the third practice session. Karun Chandhok is actually dressed very similar to me actually. Black jeans and a black shirt out there. He's just at the sky pad right now as well. Formula One still very much is feeling the effects of the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth as well. But from what we understand, after yesterday, which was the day of mourning as well, today we should have our usual introduction, music and that lot as well for this weekend. So we're going to hand over now to Simon Lazenby.
So this could be a crazy race, and the reason for that is because the amount of engine penalties that have been picked up. Max has got 5, Sergio Perez 10, Bottas 15, 3 at the back of the grid, including Carlos Sainz, Yuki Tsunoda, and initially he had a 10-place grid penalty for 5 reprimands. They decided to take extra engine parts, along with Lewis Hamilton. So that's disappointing for Mercedes, but they had some issues yesterday with a few things: balance, deployment, and bottoming out. Just have a little listen to this. So Damon, you can hear it there, can't you? You can hear that was going on, and George Russell and Lewis both really vocal about how it just wasn't quite there for them yesterday. Now, with the engine penalties that Lewis is going to have to take, does he attempt the tow for his teammate today? Is that what you think they'll be gearing everything towards?
Yeah, I was listening to George said about that, and he said it's basically it's a risky thing to do. You can get it right and fantastic, but the only way it will really work is if the guy you're giving the tow to is on a fantastic lap. That means the guy in front of him also has to be on a fantastic lap, and you have to be just the right distance apart. Too close in the corners and you're robbing time, and too far away on the straights and you're not gaining the time. So it's a tricky old thing, especially with the traffic.
Well, that's it. I mean, we've seen it so often in the past, especially here at Monza. There's a queue that forms towards the end of qualifying.
There is, and just like Damon said, it's going to be so important for them to time that correctly. There's obviously, you know, the track map, the teams can all see where the other cars are, but it comes to the end of the lap, everyone wants to go for their quick lap, and they just start to bunch up so they can get some clean air, and they've got to be really careful of that because it can really cost them in qualifying.
Ferrari, though, looking really good yesterday. It has to be said, they weren't having issues with deployment, and I think that was the difference between themselves, Red Bull and Mercedes, as we understand it.
Yeah, for those of you who don't understand what the deployment is, that was on the Mercedes, and George was basically saying that's when you got the battery pack and you want to zap it into the drive of the car, and it wasn't deploying in the right way. So that's their problem, but with Ferrari, surprisingly quick.
Absolutely, there we go. Well, Mattia Binotto arrives here under a little bit of pressure, so do Ferrari after everything that's happened. In fact, John Elkann, their chairman, very outspoken, it has to be said, about the problems that the team face. Can they correct it? Let's head up to Karun and David.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Monza in Italy. It is round 16 of the 2022 Formula One World Championship, and it's time for the third practice session as well. The world still feels the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, but in nice sympathies, we move back towards normality. Here is Monza, a 5.7393 kilometre circuit as well, 3.59 miles as well. 1:18.887 is the lap record here set by Lewis Hamilton in 2020. It's flat and it's fast, separated by just 3 chicanes as well. 12.8 metre elevation change. Pirelli bringing their tyre compounds here that best suit them. It's the hard C2, the medium C3, and the red soft C4 tyre compound as well. Intermediate tyres are green, full wet tyres are blue, but I don't think we're going to be needing them at all, as well as we welcome you to the commentary box as well. Josh T. Morning, Josh. All action all the way around. Track temperature is at 40 degrees, air temperature 25 degrees as well, and everybody is feeling the effects of out here as well of Her Majesty's passing, but everything's got to go forward, and now we're going to come forward into this because we've got breaking news that Nick de Vries will be racing here in Formula One. He's not a Formula E driver, he's back in Formula One. He'll race with number 45. He's had practice this weekend with Aston Martin in FP1, so he's only missed an hour of track time, but it's a car he's very familiar with on the simulators, and it looks like it's all going to be good. And Synthol, you may join shortly, but I think Richie's just about to join us in the commentary box as well. That's why we're waiting as well for Richie. But if he doesn't turn up as well, if he's not well again, you're more than welcome, Synth, as always. But morning, Josh. All change, and great F3 race this morning, and hopefully we can have a great F1 day as well.
It really was, and yesterday my phone was at 4%. Now it is at 100, so we are all go.
Fantastic. All good then as they come forward as well here today. And Nick de Vries is going to have a very weird situation as well. Let's have a look at the YouTube chat as well. Synthel's very happy that Nick de Vries is in Formula One as well. 2 Dutchies in F1. I can imagine, Synthel, when you found out the news, you were absolutely delighted as well. Okay, I don't have to, of course. I'll be there for 3 more races this weekend. Oh, yes, that's it. But if he gets like 20, 30 minutes in and Richie isn't here, then by all means, pop in the box. You know where it is. We're in box 1 on the Discord as well. But it's all going to be different here for Nick de Vries. He's raced, of course, in Formula E. He was the Netherlands' first ever FIA World Champion because he clinched that 3 months before that of Max Verstappen at the Dutch Grand Prix. Mick Schumacher looking on as well as he's just talking as well with Gunther Steiner. But it looks like Mick's not going anywhere, Josh, either. His car's up on the jacks with a lot of work at the back, so Mick's not going in there.
Yeah, and the whole rear wing is off the car. The whole back of the car is off the car, and Ted is in the pits.
Lots of attention down at the Williams garage. First thing is to say, poor Alex Albon, and hope he's not in pain, hope he's feeling okay. Don't know if he actually has to have his appendix out, but he's been treated for appendicitis, so we'll see where he is and what's happening. Hopefully he can be well for the next Grand Prix in Singapore. So sad that he can't compete the rest of the weekend. But yeah, 27-year-old Nick de Vries with the accolades and the championships he's won that you've already talked about. And let me just tell you what's happening with the car. So you can see the mechanic at the front of the car. I don't know if you can see that down here. Who's actually changing the pedals. It's quite a change when you go from a 6'1", 6'2" driver that is Alex Albon to 5'5", 5'6", I think Nick de Vries is. So lots of changes needed. Seats and the pedals, and also interestingly the weight distribution needs to be changed in the car as well. So they're changing some setup just to make Nick more comfortable, just to make it as low risk as possible. Might not be the fastest way they're setting up the Williams, but they're just making sure that there aren't any nasty surprises with the aero balance or anything that might catch Nick out, given that he will be, of course, up against it, going straight into free practice 3, straight into qualifying this afternoon, and then straight into a race without having driven this Williams on this circuit this year. Of course, bearing in mind what you've already said, he has driven the Aston Martin. So that's what they're doing at the garage at the moment. Mick Schumacher, I can tell you, is also going to be delayed getting out. He has a clutch issue to do with, well, he's already going to take a new gearbox. We can talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, Mick Schumacher, his car is currently without a gearbox on it.
Thank you very much, Ted Kravitz, as the cars head out onto the track now as well.
The 3 cars behind you are all on hard, so I expect they will do an install only.
Looks that way as well, that they are just going to do installation laps as they come back into the braking zone as well. Bottas, Stroll, Tsunoda, Vettel, Perez all heading out there as well. So Nick de Vries will become a new driver in Formula One as well. I believe he will be driver 1017, if my maths are correct, because Zhou Guanyu earlier on this morning was 1016, and there is George Russell just giving some hugs and kisses to people in the paddock as well. That's his own family members, I believe, coming out there as well, and just all going well and having a quick conversation with them in the paddock.
And a very popular man in the paddock, Alex Albon, has put a tweet out in the last 20 minutes or so, to which he said, appendicitis, surgery and no racing isn't what I was expecting this weekend. Negatives, missing out on what looks like a strong weekend for us, and pain. Positives, weight reduction for Singapore and cool scars. So, Alex...
Thanks, Crofty. So, it's going to be some cool scars for Alexander Albon then as well, but it looks like he's going to be okay, which is the most important news as well. But he will be back with us hopefully in Singapore in 2 weeks' time. Go on, Josh.
Ocon has a new internal combustion engine.
So he too takes penalties, right?
5th place, grid penalty.
Qualifying is just getting like it was in Spa. It becomes a bit irrelevant, to be fair. Although I think this morning's F3 race proves you can race at this circuit, so hopefully it's going to be a lot better. As well.
3 wide going into turn 1.
Yep.
Never worked.
I know. Me and Synthel were still recovering from that thing as well. Let's see. Synthel says, I'll just pause the stream for 20 seconds. I'll be synced to my pictures, so my comments will be 20 seconds delayed. No worries. As well, if they come through on the screen.
And Gasly right behind you is on hard, so I guess he will box.
Can't tell who that message that came from, Alexander. That came from Bottas. Yeah. Let's come through. So Synthel says, if Nick gets points this weekend, Williams will have no choice but to put him in that seat, replacing Latifi next year. I think Synthel's bang on, because even if... I'll tell you what, it's even sooner than that, isn't it, Josh?
Yeah, and that will also mean 22 drivers out of 20 in the championship points.
Yeah, and if Latifi hasn't even got a point yet, he's finished ahead of Hulkenberg, because where's my stat sheets that I've now printed out? Hey, look, after not having them in the Dutch Grand Prix, I've got my stats back as well. I only had a limited amount of stats in Zandvoort as well. Taking a look at my notes up here in the comms box, which are suddenly more detailed. This new ink looks great. Highest grid result of the year, the highest result for Latifi was a 12th place at the British Grand Prix, which equaled that of Nico Hulkenberg's 12th place at Saudi Arabia. So, technically, if Albon gets 11th, or doesn't even get points, he'll move ahead of him in the championship. That's unbelievable. Australia now says, can we preview your notes? Let's take a... Well, actually. Let's take a look. So, we're on board with Bottas, but here's my team stats sheets that I create myself as well. Let's come with the main camera a sec. These are my stat sheets. I create those myself. So it's got all the it's got all the teams, the amount of races they've done, wins, poles, fastest laps, podiums, how many titles they've got, drivers and constructors. For instance, look, Mercedes have 9 drivers and 8 constructors. Their first race, so Mercedes 1954 France. First win, 1954 France. Last win, Saudi Arabia 2021 as well. And they're all colour coordinated a little bit as well.
Over the line, lift off and mode charge.
This is my driver stats, which show exactly the same thing for everybody. Tells me first race, how many titles, podiums, wins, fastest lap. They're all stuck up on the wall usually, but they've just been printed to me. The usual Constructors' Championship that we get from the FIA, I'll go through those before qualifying and make my pen notes to them. I usually get a pen and write down how many points they are behind as well. I circle their best results as well, so it's easier for me to see on the wall. That's the same for the drivers in the Constructors' Championship. And this gets printed off from the FIA as well. This is the FIA preview guide. It gives me a little track map. Driver stats from last year's race, the tyres for this weekend, and some quick little facts as well that we can tell you about across the weekend. In terms of other notes as well that I create up here in the comms box, that's not it. Because I also have this. This is my file of facts of information, and currently open is the 2 pages of driver notes I have for each. So there's a few little lines on each of the drivers, all 20 of them. So, for instance, for Alexander Albon, I wrote, scored once from his 2 appearances, once with Red Bull, finished 6th in 2019, failed to score in 2020, finishing only 15th. That's the sort of things I note down as well. I've got some things on the racetrack as well, with race winners, pole sitters, on the podium, Sunday stats, things like that. I've got the race director's event guide at the front of the page as well, telling me about track limits. And then, of course, easy for Formula 2 and Formula 3, they send you your notes. So you print out your notes guide for Formula 2 and Formula 3, gives you a spotter's guide, recap of the season, drivers and team standings, and some track notes as well. That's what we have for F2 and F3 as well. So it's basically all we have up in the comms box as well for stat notes as well. As we come back up the box, go on, Josh, as Perez goes top.
I literally just have that.
Yeah, you've got a whole
The
board
basics.
though. Yeah, but you've got pretty much the same information as me up in the box. So we always share data as well. As Perez is a 1:22.611. Let's see. Synthel says, it seems like Nick has a chance of starting in the top 10 with all those grid penalties. Why is Nick not out yet? Shouldn't he be practicing getting used to the car in this hour? They're just doing a quick ride height change as well, as Ted said as well. I feel like he should drive as much as possible. He will be out there for the rest of the session. Australian now says, thanks, Joshua. Always enjoy the behind the scenes. We need a feature. That's what we need. Megan's not doing anything, so I'll get Megan to hold the camera this evening, and I'll show you around all of the commentary box, and we'll shove it in the pre-show tomorrow because we've got enough time to fill. So we'll get us a behind the scenes of how this commentary box works.
I am launching a petition.
Yeah, Ted's down at Haas.
Work still going on in the Haas garage.
Is Ted there?
Schumacher's car. There's a lot to be bolted on, Karun, on the rear end of that
cancel handbrake.
Not exactly frantic work going on to try and get him out. So.
Yeah, I was going to say it's...
Okay, well, that's just down there at the Haas garage. There's not a lot of work for him to go down there at the moment. What's this? Little Owl says, I've got my memory for all this. Believe me, as Jack Nicholls also said once as well, as the BBC Radio 5 live commentator, you spend a few days preparing your notes as well. 80% of the notes you will never use. You never get to use them. Like, for instance, I use my driver notes because if something happens, I can easily just say something quickly because I put a lot of time into those. And I use all my stats as well that are up on the wall because up on the wall, I've got the 2 pages of the Drivers' Championship, the Constructors' Championship, and the 2 notes pages I create myself. For instance, this is what we had at the Dutch Grand Prix. The only page that printed out off the wall, the only page that printed was the team stats. So I had to go over the Belgian Grand Prix in pen and change the numbers.
Yeah, I seem to get a better grip from the start, basically, to the end. Second lap was a bit better. I'm struggling a bit through the chicanes, especially the second chicane, turn 4.
Interesting to hear there from Sergio Perez. He's struggling on the track. Danny Ricciardo gets into the car as well. And important to note as well, as I see Josh's hashtag, what was it? Petition for Josh to get those driver stats and team stats for each GP. Lol. Yeah, and usually we do. Usually, but the printer didn't work last week. So I had the stats, but they were on a laptop screen as well. So it was a bit different to what we are used to out here as well. And they were on as well the iPad up in the comms box. And Megan was with me, and we didn't have much time to look at the notes as well. But still, what did I have last week? I've actually got them here still, look, on the other side of the commentary box. These are all the stats I had last week. Is it? Yeah, that's, here we go, look. So out of the usual about 30 pages of stats I had last week, 5 stats I only had last week, and that was race winners, pole sitters on the podium. And I think on one of them I also wrote Alonso overcut is good, because that's why usually in the race you don't see me, but I write down little notes as well over my notes, and I use a pink pen as well to make sure it's easier to spot. But anyway, back to the action, although not much is happening out there. Go on, Josh.
Changes in light blue text for the FIA, changes in pink pen for Josh Webber.
Absolutely. Audio up lap. Oh, fantastic. That means that they've got to shut up. So let's take a look then with Max Verstappen, and in fact we're going to open up the telemetry of Max Verstappen, so sit back, relax and enjoy the lap.
I think I'm losing a bit of mechanical grip into form. In the low speed, I think medium speed tends to be a bit better. We minimize the long. Was positive.
Yeah, copy Checo.
So nice to see as well at the moment that the cars are heading out on the circuit. George Russell's now circulating as well, Josh, out there on the circuit. And it's going quite well. Nice to hear the onboard as well with all that for a second.
Yeah, it really was. Through the Curva Grande for George Russell up to the second of the chicanes. That turns 4 and 5.
Yep, cars to go around with George Russell as well, going out there on the circuit, looking all good, as I've just had some post delivered to me as well up in the commentary box, the things we're waiting for a new bank account. So that was interesting. That time lap came perfectly.
Has it been approved by King Charles?
No, by NatWest. Approved by NatWest. Anyway, back up we come to the main box.
Please tell me you got the joke about the approves in the...
Oh yeah, don't worry. Approved. I would have loved it. Although technically, he had to say do not approve to one of them, and he did that privately as well. And that do not approve was to use the same signet as his mother, the E2R one as well. But he will be C2R as well as his full name. As Russell goes fourth as well in the box as well. And Synth, if you're around, if you want to pop in, by all means, if you want to pop in, we'll pop in now and we'll get everything sorted. Australia now says, I think the hashtag is for Josh Jr. Little Al says, at Synth, we are talking about Nick, but everyone forgets Logan Sargent. And Synth says, yeah, I put Sargent in the Williams in my predictions a while ago, but it looks good for Nick too now, though not going to lie. If Sargent has a good final round, he will get the Williams seat. Verstappen says, yeah, he's still in front. I suspect he'll have a meeting after this session. Now, is that from Lewis Hamilton, who was still in front of him out on the circuit? That's interesting. This Lau says, God, I don't want another season of Gotifi. Don't think anybody wants another season of Gotifi either, as well. And Nick gets a good race, he will get the seat, absolutely. Big cheers from the Tifosi as Carlos Sainz heads out there on the circuit as well. And he'll be starting from the back of the grid anyway, as we know, Josh, as well, because he's got that back of the grid pen. Thanks to a whole new car, a whole new everything, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and like last weekend in Zandvoort, it's grid penalties galore.
The car ahead, Max.
Yeah, what is this?
No idea.
There's the radio. There's the radio.
He'll have a meeting after this session.
That guy was an autocorrection.
Sainz coming through the first couple of corners. We saw a lot of drivers in Formula 3 going down the escape road, and I believe one car locked up and went to the left into the barriers, but 197 just tucks in for Carlos Sainz going round the Curva Grande.
Yeah, it was a big old mess as well out there. As I just realised that the Discord isn't actually set up correctly yet. As well, got to get everything sorted out here as well. As the action comes through, the field will continue to move around, and there's a lot of anticipation coming in. As joining the commentary box now is once again it's Synthel. Morning, Synth. You doing all right?
Yeah, I am. Still trying to recover from the Formula 3 race.
Everybody's trying to get back from that Formula 3 race as well. It was absolutely epic as well. Definitely one of the, if not the best race of the season so far as well, as the cars just heading onto the circuit. And what's your opinion then? Go on. I know you've been wanting to say it, but speaking as someone from the Netherlands and being Dutch as well, you've got one of your drivers on the grid again. How does it feel?
It's incredible, of course. I didn't expect Nick to be in this car, of course. Maybe not even next year, but now he's there and he's got a great opportunity to prove himself. And especially with all those grid penalties, he could start pretty high up in the grid. And if he can manage to get points here, I'm sure he might get a seat there next year as well in Formula 1, or a whole season.
I really hope as well it'll be all season. That'd be fantastic. Because listen to the applause from the Tifosi as well, coming through the back half. That's insane. Sainz goes 7th, 2 minutes 7:39, but Leclerc's absolutely rocketing it down. We've got Norris on board on this side camera as well, looking great as well, as they all come into the battle zones. Round the final corner, the Parabolica and down towards the line. Does Charles Leclerc go fastest for Ferrari across the line of the medium compound tyres? No, it's a 1:22.470. About the same time he did in practice one yesterday, actually. That was a 1:22.410. So he's 6 1,000ths of a second off. Here comes Norris in 12th, goes 5th, 1:23.770 as well. So Nick de Vries isn't out on the track just yet. We understand that Williams are changing the ride heights and everything as well to make sure the car's fully set up for him. And we'll see him out on the track in the next 10 minutes, we believe. That's not a lot of time, though. Russell goes 7th.
Nick didn't have a lot of running in FP1 either, did he?
No, he didn't, but comically enough, he was actually faster than Nicholas Latifi still, as was Giovinazzi. So Latifi is under a bit of worry this weekend, as well as Alonso goes 4th, 1.3 seconds off the pace. It's a 1:23.196 as he comes through. As don't worry about losing the audio, because the pit lane channel's still on, and we have somewhere the extension lead, but it's trapped in between the television and the bus mixer. So hang on a minute. There we go. There we go. Getting the noise back out there, so no one's disillusioned. Has the F1 TV gone down, Josh? Because we've lost the graphic as well.
Not that one.
That's the one. Never mind. Have you changed it?
Yeah, it just decided to go down.
Ah, right. I'll edit that then on my side as they come in. I need what Tom suggested as well, the clipper, so it's easier to do.
So tyres are looking good, so we start to scrub. Temperatures are good, so we start to scrub.
Okay.
And that was Alexander Albon, who was on the radio there as he comes through into the zone as well. A lot of anticipation. Go on, John.
I doubt that was Albon, by the way.
Oh, it was Stroll, you're right. I got told it was Albon in my ear. My producer is now going, sorry, in my earphone as well. Thanks for that. As they come through. Nah, it's simple human error. I'm not going off with their head.
Daily getting screwed over by producer.
Yeah, off with their head. And so forth as well. That's the new monarch, isn't it, as well? The car's still going out there as well. We'll stay on Barricam for a second. As Verstappen is fastest, a 1:21.872. Perez second as well. But Max Verstappen's 100% finish record came to an end at Monza in 2020. He recorded a second consecutive DNF at the track last year after colliding with Lewis Hamilton. But Verstappen did score the Italian Grand Prix in every season between 2016 and 2019. And that is a lock-up from Sainz, nearly costing Bottas as well. Is that what you were going Otto for as well?
Yeah, it's been noted.
Yeah. just seeing on the replay on the pit lane channel as it comes back through, yeah. But yeah, he's yet to finish in the top 4 at this circuit. His best result, Max Verstappen, was 5th in 2018. So not a lot of hope there. Turn 1 incident involving Sainz and Bottas noticed for impeding. I don't think that's right there. I don't think there's anything that could have been done. I don't know if you saw it since on the pit lane channel, did you?
I didn't see it. Maybe
No,
later.
Aye.
Everyone saw it, did they? Oh, well, that's good then. As they come through. And Fernando Alonso on board with Danny Ricciardo in box number 3 as well, just coming down the start-finish straight. That's, I don't think De Vries has left the track yet. Seb, you will always be a legend, and the B is a B, an actual buzzing B. That's fantastic. The imagination of the fans here is brilliant. And also...
Carlos box, we need to box.
Carlos box.
I don't know why I know the mileage, but like this I learned nothing. I just know one lap. We need to box on fuel system. Okay.
I am being told, by the way, actually, everybody was going on about as well how I'm actually related to the Queen, and my sister Kellyanne has just told me how, because it is William Arthur Philip Louis Mountbatten Windsor, who is the current King of England as well. He is our 22nd cousin, 4th time removed. So 22 down the line is the King of England. Royalty. All I'm saying, royalty. Here it is again on the main pictures, guys.
Wow.
That got awfully
Yeah,
close.
it is under investigation now as well.
I don't know if you saw that, but pretty close.
Yep, copy, we saw.
Yeah, that's Bottas nearly becoming one with the Ferrari, and the 2 Italian brands taking it a bit too close for comfort there, coming through the first couple of corners as well here at Monza.
Ruined a set of tires as well a little bit for Bottas.
Yeah, he has, yeah. Massively so. Ruined. I wonder if that's going to cause a problem later on in the run as well, because everyone's out there doing the long runs before switching over to go to qualifying. Adam Kupo is an F1 journalist, just tweeted as well, that said he believes that he believes that Nick De Vries was having a coffee at the Mercedes-AMG hospitality when he received the message from Williams. He only found out shortly before the public announcement. Wow. So...
Yeah.
Yeah, and also worth noting that with the penalties applied, Albon would have started 6th based on his FP2 time. So De Vries has a pretty competitive car under him. And he's a world champion, don't forget, Nick De Vries. FIA Formula E champion in season 7. So in the Mercedes car as well. So he's the Netherlands' first ever world champion. Then Max did it for Formula 1 a couple of months later, as Perez stays 3rd. It's Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez, Sainz top 4, Alonso 5th, Norris 6th, Tsunoda 7th, and Vettel just goes into 8th place as well, 2 seconds off the times. But guys, it's happened again, look. Verstappen 1:21.872, Leclerc 1:21.994, separated by 0.072 of a second, as there we see Antonio Perez as well, the father of Sergio Perez, as they come back through.
Hey, Nick.
Nick De Vries, ladies and gentlemen, is out on the track in a Williams.
Take out Sergio balls.
And a little bit of history being made here. I believe Nick De Vries now becomes the first ever Formula 1 driver to compete in 2 different teams.
Good luck, Nick.
Good luck, Nick, the team tell him. So I think Nick De Vries becomes the first ever Formula 1 driver to be in 2 different teams on the same weekend. Because he was in Aston Martin FP1, and now he's in a Williams and FP3. I can't remember a time that's been done. So that's history for you.
Yeah, neither can I. That's quite an interesting one, of course. In FP1 with Aston Martin.
Nick De Vries just dominating the base of the driver tracker.
Yeah, if you can see on the drive track now, Nick De Vries is N.dev. That will change to Dev in qualifying. Somebody will get some work done there and it'll all change over. Little Owl says not only that, but Nick...
Good luck, Nick.
There we go. Oh, yeah. Little Owl also corrects me as well. Not only that, Nick De Vries becomes the first Formula E driver to be promoted to Formula 1. Absolutely. And Nick De Vries chose to do Formula E over Formula 1 because he thought it would be a better deal. And then Mercedes abandoned him and said they'll bring him to Formula 1. So Nick De Vries went the long way round, became a world champion, and now he's racing here as well in Formula 1. What's your opinion on that, guys, as I've got to step out for a sec?
Yeah, well, it was obviously a last-second decision. They couldn't really choose anyone else there at the Williams, I suppose, because, you know, De Vries was the only one on standby. But, yeah, it's going to be very interesting how he's going to do this weekend. Obviously, he maybe has missed out on the rest of the season, which could lead him to be a little bit unprepared. But,
yes,
yeah, this
but
could be very interesting.
Top left toggle for the Lesmo if you're in shape 4 for the whole lap.
Yes, this is Daniel Ricciardo on the radio there. Nick De Vries did 22 laps in free practice 1 and first lap in a Williams for practice 3 for the Italian Grand Prix, just coming down the back straight towards Parabolica now. 33 minutes remaining of the session.
I'm back.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, just giving more bank details again as they come through. Sorry about that.
Don't worry, we covered you.
Perfectly as well. I did actually hear you guys over the headphones as well. De Vries' first lap. Who wants to call it? Should we give it to the resident Dutch? Go on, Synth.
So, De Vries, well, he's on the mediums, of course. A bit slower than Latifi. So, yeah, he had a lock-up in turn 1. I saw it already. It's a very small lock-up.
Watch for Perez now. Perez 2. Time to find to Lando is second chicane and Ascari.
Yeah, Ricciardo's radio just being told there as well, yeah. That's fantastic. Just being told as well that having held a minute silence yesterday, Formula 1 will hold another minute's silence tomorrow as well before the race. And Charles Leclerc's car is up on the jacks and they're checking something with the rear of the car. Now, I hope that's just a setup change. If not, Charles Leclerc could be in a bit of trouble here. And they are lowering it, so thank goodness for that. Don't scare us like that, Ferrari. It's the middle of a session. You're not supposed to do that. And everybody breathes again.
Yeah, that was a quite scary corner analysis, turn 7 for Verstappen versus Leclerc. Verstappen 0.12 seconds faster, top speed 264 kilometers an hour. And let's go down to Andreas Seidel on the pit wall.
Thanks for joining us. What sort of shape are we looking in for McLaren this weekend now, do you think?
Yeah, Alain from the pit wall. I think after a good second session yesterday and making further changes overnight to the cars, we should be in a position to fight for good positions today in Quali 3. Also today in the session after still being in the middle of the first runs, I think we can see that we made another small step forward, which is positive. On the one lap yesterday, Lando's pace was quite encouraging, so that's results in a clear objective for the afternoon to get into Quali 3 at both cars.
When it gets to qualifying, how concerned are you about traffic? And I mentioned that as we look at Max Verstappen encountering another chicane that he didn't really expect, this one caused by Mercedes and Alpine. How will traffic play a part today?
We need to see. I mean, we know from previous years that everyone tries obviously to leave late here and try to get a tow. At the same time, maybe the tow this year is not as effective as it has been in previous years with these new cars. So let's see. Same challenge for everyone in the end. And hopefully we master it with our two cars.
We've got a yellow.
Andreas, can I ask? Yesterday, you guys sound a little bit pessimistic about your chances
Lesmo
against Alpine.
De Vries.
Oh no!
What you saw and
He's
what
back
you're
on.
sounding like now, it sounds like you're a bit more buoyant heading into qualifying.
Yeah, as I said before, I think with the one lap pace you've seen yesterday from Lando, which was a perfect lap, I think we were in a position, or that gave us the hope that we're in a position today to fight it, even on a track like here, where we expected to struggle with a low downforce, to be in a position to fight with the Alpines, to fight for this position to be the fourth best team on one lap. But then obviously race Sunday is coming with warm temperatures, which is again a different story. I think in terms of the long run yesterday, especially Fernando was definitely a bit quicker, so hopefully with the steps he made on the car overnight, that's also something we could make a step and puts us in a position to be also then competitive, or more competitive tomorrow.
Andreas, we've just seen Nick de Vries, the reserve driver, coming in. Obviously, he's done some FP1 sessions. Can I ask you, we're going slightly off this weekend, where are you in terms of getting Oscar into the car for some FP1 sessions? Are there, you know, how are the conversations going with Alpine to get that situation resolved? Because surely getting him in is a no-brainer for you.
Yeah, nice try. Focus is on the race weekend here in Monza at the moment. This is where we put all our energy in. And,
well, I tried.
We just want to get our notes made in time for his FP1 debut. Good luck with the negotiations on that one, Andreas. Thanks ever so much for joining us.
Cheers, guys.
Andreas Seidel there, as we did actually see in the sideline graphic as well.
Traffic paradise.
Traffic paradise, but it was a very interesting off-track excursion due to Nick de Vries, who went off at Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2, but he has got back on the track, which is great news as well. And I know, Cynthia, you had your heart in your mouth at that point as well, but he's just learning, he's just getting the ropes sorted. As we get told, de Vries' record in F2 here as well. Off you go.
Obviously, it's been his second time in the gravel already this weekend, because in the Aston Martin he's gone up as well in FP1, so well, let's hope he'll be able to fix that for qualifying and for the race later on, but yeah, he still needs to get some more practice in for sure.
Fingers crossed it's all going to be okay as Sebastian Vettel heads down on the circuit as well. Let's take a look though at his stats here, because the little owl has helpfully given us some. Nick de Vries' record in F2 at Monza.
Overtake button from turn 11 to turn 1.
That was, who was that? I can't read the Bottas. Okay, so de Vries' record in F2 as well. In 2017, 18th and 12th as well, but Ted's going to interrupt me.
In the garage, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just part of their run plan. He's sitting in the car. There's just a little bit of polishing going on, so no changes to the car, which indicates that he's happy with the setup, which is bodes well for qualifying for Ferrari later on. I think the mechanics have changed into their fire suits quite early down here. They're normally, for qualifying in the race, they'll all put their fire suit overalls, their fireproof overalls on, which of course are yellow, the colour of Modena for this weekend. But yeah, for free practice 3, they're the only mechanics in the pit lane who've managed to put all their fire suits, their race kits, their qualifying kit on one session early, only just to give them a nice new outing.
Yeah, it looks like proper 80s.
If you need it at turn 4.
Looks like proper 1980s down there at Ferrari at the moment. They like it. Oh, what? Sorry.
Race controller's gone again.
Oh no. Keeps on having that problem as he comes back through. I know, we just lost our team radio. So yeah, continuing the Little Owl's point finally. 2017, he was 18th and then 12th. In 2018, he was 9th and 17th. In 2019, he was 3rd and 3rd. And he did win here in GP3. He did, yes, I remember that race actually, when Nick de Vries winning. Wasn't commentating on the series back then. Only started the juniors this year as well, which is a bit weird saying that, because tomorrow we crown a Formula 3 champion as well. And after that as well, we will crown an F2 champion possibly later on today, because Felipe Drugovich is on 233 points. Theo Pourchaire is on 164. So it's still them in the championship, but there's not that many points remaining as well. There's 50 for feature race wins and 20 for, 10 each. So it's 10, 25, so that's 35 plus 35, that's 70. So there's only 70 points to go, and the gap at the moment...
That's fast lap.
Yeah, Russell has it the fast lap, yeah. Verstappen 1:21.72. Okay, so let's take a look. I need to get my calculator up here to work out the
and 2 points for Paul as well.
Oh yeah, forgot about that. So that's 233 minus 164 equals 69 point gap with 70 on offer. but plus the 2 for pole position left. So it's 71, but that already got taken. So there's 70 points left on the board, and there are 70 points in the gap of the championship. But then plus that for fastest lap and that lot as well. It looks like Drugovich will be crowned the Formula 2 champion today. Not tomorrow in the feature, today. That's how big it can come down to. So it looks like we're going to be crowning a champion later on, Cynthia. That's going to be even better.
Yeah. Well, yeah, unless it's Monza, of course, unless something crazy happens with Drugovich. You know, we saw Martins crash out in the opening lap. It could be same for Drugovich, of course. We never know. But yeah, obviously Pourchaire is far behind as well.
Pourchaire would then have to take a major victory, wouldn't he? He would have to do something to close that gap down overall on the board. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll get all the title permutations worked out before 4:55 UK time and 5:55 over here in Central Europe as well. So we'll get all that sorted, as at the moment the driver tracker is working. We're on break now, so we'll switch over to battle screen so that we can all take a seat and look at our pit lane channels, as we see Williams as well. So James Irwin, the senior race engineer at Williams, just helping along. Now Nick de Vries's time is...
I got back to mode 6, this is really terrible.
Oh. That was Max Verstappen complaining out there. Yeah, so Latifi's time is a 1:23.552. De Vries is a 1:24.790. But I guarantee you in qualifying, De Vries will out-qualify Latifi. It's almost a certainty, isn't it?
Well, maybe. He's already made quite some mistakes already. He's just got to put it together, of course, to qualifying.
Jack Doohan watching on as well in the background of the Alpine garage, as Max is still complaining and bringing it back to the garage, so he's not happy with some setup change that's been made to the Red Bull, which I wouldn't be surprised about either, because you've got to have it so consistently good to make sure you've got the same competitive car. McLaren now, just getting things ready as well. And Martin Bundle has just tweeted as well, mid-session actually. Martin has tweeted, driving my 62nd different F1 car at Monza, the Lotus 72-7, 5 Grand Prix wins, including Emerson Fittipaldi at the 1973 Brazilian Grand Prix. Beautiful and not a little scary. It's a Cosworth engine and it's a Hewland gearbox as well, strapped to your back with fuel tanks and aluminium chassis for protection. But that Lotus car is absolutely gorgeous, and I, as well, always wanted to drive that car. Always wanted to drive that car. That Lotus is brilliant. And Karun's been driving a Lotus 69 as well, I believe, of Damon Hill's father's Graham Hill as well. See, I corrected myself just in time as it come through. Dill's here this weekend, actually, the champ from '97. Monza falls a little bit silent as De Vries and Tsunoda are the only 2 cars on the track, although I think De Vries is actually coming into the pit lane, isn't he? Because he's going a bit slow down the start-finish straight. It's been hidden a bit by Tsunoda. Go on, Josh.
No, he stays out. It was me.
Oh, it was you, Synth. Sorry.
Both staying out.
Yeah, stay back through into the
I
pit.
think they're doing long runs. I mean, I suppose they are.
De Vries, you can tell actually that De Vries's car model hasn't actually been synced up with the driver tracker yet, because he just cut the first chicane completely. Is he going to shut this one then? Is it? No, it's been modified for this one. The driver tracker will get okay soon. It'll box itself in eventually. I'm seeing them actually on the screen, actually, Tsunoda and De Vries now on the pit lane channel.
Yeah, hopefully. I have done some stuff. This will be the last time that the race control messages move around.
You're back with us on Sky F1 as well if you're watching around the world, and right now as well the action zones just keep on coming. We have been having a relaxed free practice 3 as well, which is I think just the mood that everybody's needed after the last couple of days, but Nick de Vries as well giving everybody the exciting curve heading out there on the circuit with 20 minutes to go of the session. There's Valtteri Bottas watching in as well, not having a coffee, which isn't very Italian as well. It's having a little drink of water or some form of rejuvenant drink as well, regenerative drink. And there's the yellow Ferrari helmets. Sainz fourth, Leclerc second, but Max may take pole position, but it will be pole for whoever has second position. But Max only starts sixth on the grid. I mean, is anybody really doubting him that he's not going to win tomorrow? Because I think he's going to dominate and win, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
I mean, Ferrari didn't look too much to be far behind. You see again now Leclerc only 0.072 of a second behind Verstappen, and in FP2 he was even, I think in all sessions he has been behind the Ferraris. So it might not be as easy as we may think from the previous races, but obviously it's a track we can pretty easily overtake, and obviously now with these new cars you can follow a lot more easily. So we might see him win again, but I don't think it might be as easy as we think from previous times.
Carlos Sainz has just been summoned to the stewards. I've just received the FIA email with the document as well for driving unnecessarily slowly. So he's been summoned to the stewards as Carlos Sainz. So
I suppose that was for the moment with Bottas.
Yeah, probably a reprimand. Magnussen has received a back of the grid start for a new engine. That's just been announced as well. So Magnussen and Ocon too. So that's 8 drivers, which now means once again qualifying becomes completely irrelevant today.
It's going to be interesting where the Vries will start then.
8 drivers with a penalty, 12th. He's got to start. Well, actually, no, yeah.
No, but I think not, because Verstappen, for example, has 5 places.
So possibly 13th then. So at worst, De Vries on debut starts 13th. I think that's marvellous. Oh,
sorry. Be very interesting.
Sorry to cut across you, but you see Joe Bauer there, the FIA technical delegate. He's retiring at the end of the year, and the gentleman you just saw alongside him, the new hotshot young gun, he's his replacement for next season as well. Just training him as well as he'll be shadowing him for the remainder of the season. Now look at this, down the back straight away. We've got Norris.
I am in mode race.
Okay, so go mode 7.
Yeah, Norris, Ricciardo, Sainz, Lando, and Hamilton, all backing up on the way in towards the Parabolica because they don't want to give a tow on the next lap. We saw how powerful the tow can be in Formula 3 sprint race. And it's just getting worse, absolutely worse as they head down towards turn number 1.
Yeah, is this a sign for what we can see in qualifying later on?
Oh my, does everyone... 2 years ago, the 2019... Well, 3 years ago actually, the 2019 train, everyone going so slow at the banking. Oh dear.
Yeah, that was ridiculous, to be honest. Yeah. It was Q3. Only 2 cars managed to take the flag.
It was Magnussen and Leclerc, I think. I know one of them was Leclerc, but I swear the other was Magnussen. Sainz coming out then on the circuit. A 25 place grid penalty he's been given as well. That's just unbelievable. As they come to it, Leclerc's on the onboard too. Russell jumps to 4th on the soft tyres, 122.357. Now, many people have been saying as well that it could be a Leclerc-Russell front row of the grid, which I think is possible with both Red Bulls having grid penalties. But Mercedes do stand a chance tomorrow if they can get out early of maybe getting a race win, but it's a flat-out circuit. But look at that. Alonso goes 4th, and then Norris goes 5th, and now Sainz jumps to 2nd, but will cancel him out with a grid penalty as well. So... front row of the grid, if things as they are here in practice 3, would see Leclerc, Alonso front row, like in Canada when Alonso started 2nd.
Yeah, Mercedes haven't looked that strong all weekend, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. And to be fair, Leclerc got it wrong in Dall'Origlia, didn't he?
Yeah, nearly actually. And into the gravel, a bit of a lock up there.
Just on entrance. Go on, Josh.
There is one very, very happy person in the Burts household right now.
Megan.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I'm just wondering as well that if Alonso qualifies 2nd or even takes pole position, Megan will fly into this commentary box and probably whack her leg on the thing. But
on the bike?
Yeah, the bike that's inside. Ian Birch will be back with us for the race tomorrow, by the way, as well, taking it easy as well. So I think qualifying is just me and you, Josh, as well. Don't know. I know, Cynthia, you always listen to Olav, don't you, in qualifying?
Absolutely.
122.657 for Joe goes 8th position as well. So yeah, and if Ian Birch is unavailable tomorrow as well, Josh will become the co-com like we had in Hungary as well. And I'm not sure if Tom's around either as well to drop in.
I'm absolutely fine with that.
Yes, absolutely. I know, Synth as well. We've got to get you on a race at some point this year. We need you on a main race for F1.
I don't know about that, but maybe.
Maybe. I tell you, once all the championships been dissolved and all that lot, and Max wins after Japan or something, pop on for one. So Ricardo goes 11th. Yeah, that's a point. We're 2 races away. Max could win the title at Japan. Even though we've got a sprint race in Brazil, the championship could be done in Japan. If that sprint race wasn't there, the championship would be decided in Singapore in 2 weeks' time. That's how insane it is. Hamilton? Sorry, go on, Synth.
It could already be in Singapore, I think, mathematically.
I need to... Where's my calculator? Megan nicked it.
Still no re-random page of the corners.
Here's Hamilton to turn 1 there to Filio. And goes a little bit wide. Okay, so let's work this out. I've got the calculator out. So there are 25 points for a win. Plus...
26.
Yeah, 26. Okay, so 26 plus the fastest lap. Times that by how many races we've got left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that is 182 points left on the board. Plus the 12 for the sprint. Is it 12 for sprint race or is it 8? It's 8 for sprint race, isn't it? Yeah, so plus the 8 points.
Oh, I forgot about the sprint race.
Yeah, so there's 190 points left on, and he has... there's 190 and he's 109. So 100 minus 109, that's 81 points. So where does that take us to? So if he wins here and gets the fastest lap, that'll take it down to 55. And after Singapore, that'll take it to 29. So he can't win it in Japan either.
Increased gaps welcome.
So yeah, he can't win it in Japan either. So the first mathematical shot he's got at winning the title is the United States Grand Prix in America. That's what I've just worked out. If he wins and gets the fastest lap each race. But even so, that's only an extra 3 points. That'll only take it to 6. So the first mathematical shot he's got of winning the title in any prerogative, in any format of prerogative, would be the United States Grand Prix in a few weeks' time. So yeah. Wow. Somebody just confirmed the math to me as well. Josh, are you doing it as well?
No, but Verstappen a fastest overall. Sector 1 a 27.070, best lap a 121.872. Sector 2 a 27.249 for Verstappen, exiting the Ascari chicane now. Leclerc also on a lap.
Tyres are good. Increased gaps welcome.
I'm calling Megan. I'm actually dialing her. Hi, Megan, can you hear me? We're live.
Yeah.
Hi, we're live. Okay. Are you in a position to come to the commentary box? We are live on air, by the way, so careful with your words. All right. Well, in that case, work this out for me. There's 190 points left on the board with 6 races to go. Max has a 109-point advantage. Now, I worked that out, that if he wins and gets the fast lap, that's 26 points in the next 2 races, Italy and Singapore and in Japan. That means that America would be the first chance he gets to take the title. Is that correct? On the map?
I still think Singapore.
Yeah, I still think so.
Hold on.
Okay. This is live phone call with Megan, by the way. Literally, I'm holding you against your headset, Megs.
Okay, hold on. Say it again.
Okay, so...
I cannot see him behind me.
2 seconds. Okay. What I was saying, Megan, was there is 190 points left on the board. There are 6 races to go. 1, 2, 3, 4,
including this
5,
one.
6, 7. Oh, yeah, there's 7 races to go. Yeah, there's 7 races to go. And Max has a 109-point lead. I worked it out that if he wins and takes the fast lap, that's 26 points. here in Italy, Singapore, and Japan, he will mathematically be able to clinch the title in America. Is that right?
Okay, so how much does he need, though?
26
Just
points.
say yes, Megan.
26 points across the 3 weekends.
26.
So 26 at 50 to about 104. That's 104.
26 times by 3 of 3 weekends would be like 78.
Might be getting to the point. Too much.
So add that to the 109 points he has now. That would be around 187.
And there's
points
190
in the lead.
So that's after 3. So yeah, America. So that's yeah. Okay. Cheers. Thank you, Megan.
Okay.
Bye bye.
See ya.
Bye bye.
Megan should have just said yes.
Yeah. Well, she's a mathematician. She had to work that out completely. So there's 187 points if he wins Italy, Singapore, and Japan. There's 190 left. So yeah, America. Go on, Synth.
How many points do you get for the sprint? 8, right?
8 points for the sprint.
So after Singapore, there are 5 races left, right? And then plus the sprint.
No, after Singapore, there's Japan, America, Mexico, Brazil, and Iberia. Yeah, 5 races left after that.
So it's 5 times 26.
Yeah.
Plus 8 for the sprint. That's 138 points left.
Yeah, it's very late,
Yeah.
the front bucking.
Now, minus that away.
Take a bit of EB.
So if he wins this race plus Singapore, he's got more than 138 point lead to Leclerc. So he should already get, or to Perez.
Right.
He should already get that.
So hang on, 310 plus the 26 now, plus another 26 will be 362. So how many points are left on the board? 362 minus 138, 224. Yeah. So it could be after Singapore. So there's one way of working out which means it's after America, or in America, and there's one way of working out that it's going to be in Singapore. That's confusing.
Because there are less points available after.
Yeah. For the sprint, yeah. So, should we just go in the middle and say Japan? Because it's most probably going to be Japan.
After Singapore, you can get
I
it.
think will be better handbrake, not because it's the migration. It was the end of braking.
Right, yeah. So it's after Singapore. So I stand by my original hypothesis that it would be Japan, where he would be crowned champion, which really annoys Megan because she has to get up early, which is why I was enjoying it. As Leclerc comes across the line and goes second. Yeah, that's the point. If the champion gets crowned, everybody has to be in the commentary box. So Dad was already getting up early anyway to watch it, but Megan has to too.
There's one. How many points is there between Leclerc and Verstappen now?
109 as things stand.
So that means Verstappen does need to have 29 points. He needs to gain 29 points in only this race and Singapore. That's still quite a lot. If mathematically it's possible, but
if Leclerc doesn't
still
score
quite
points.
A lot of points.
Yeah, if Leclerc doesn't score, which he might do, which will push it towards America. Okay, somebody with a mathematical brain, who is much more capable than me, Josh Synthel, and Megan's not with us. Somebody try and work out
I have a mathematical brain, but it's not as mathematical as it.
Trying to work out the title is trying to work out your tax returns for the year. It's awful. Gwenwyn says, did I miss anything? Bit put off because of the grid penalties. No, you missed nothing at all, apart from the fact that...
Basically.
Go on, Josh.
You just missed us three embarrassing ourselves with maths.
Yes. And look at that. De Vries has got up to 13th place, and he's only a 10th behind Latifi. That's impressive. And yes, Gwenwyn. Nick De Vries is now racing at Williams for the remainder of this weekend as Alexander Albon has got appendicitis. So that's the only other thing you've missed, Gwenwyn. But we're just trying to work out when the title can be won because it's a bit confusing.
Look at that, Megan. I know Megan's not in the comments box, but 5th fastest in high-speed corners for Alonso.
She will be watching, though. She is. She's watching and listening. I did say, are you in a position to come to the commentary box? And she said no. So I'll task her with that.
Are you sure? Are you sure about that, Megan?
Yeah, are you sure? Yeah. Presumably, she's having lunch as well, which is the normal thing to do at this time, because this is a rare thing for Megan. That This is the first F1 race she's missed since, I think, Australia. No, since Azerbaijan. No, since Canada. See, I'm changing myself all the time. Because she didn't do the Canadian Grand Prix because it was Le Mans, and she was doing Le Mans. So she was in Silverstone, Austria, France, Hungary, Belgium, Netherlands. 6 races running Megan was in. So she takes this race off before being back in Singapore. She may take Japan off, but then she'll be back for America, Mexico, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi. But if Max doesn't get the title, have an opportunity to take it in Japan, she'll take Japan off and come back for United States, Mexico, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi. Because the last 4 races, she's always in the box.
If you can remind me how many races running I've done this season.
You missed Azerbaijan, and you were there for, I think, everything else. You were there in Bahrain, you were there in Saudi Arabia, you were there in Australia, though you missed quali. Italy, you were there. Miami, you were there. Spain, you were there. Monaco, you were there. You did miss Azerbaijan, but we couldn't have had you on anyway, but you weren't here.
Brands,
yeah, you were at Brands then. Canada, Silverstone, Austria, France. You've only missed 1 race this year, I think.
I've been in at least 1 session every single weekend, let's just say that.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
With Azerbaijan practice.
And qualifying. Oh, no, Azerbaijan practice, yeah, not qualifying.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you, everyone.
I think, actually, I'm trying to work out what I've missed this year. 2 qualifyings, I think that's it, isn't it?
Yeah. I think I was in Azerbaijan qualifying as well, because it was just a Sunday that we went off.
No, you were with me at Le Mans. Oh, the Clay radio.
Oh, yeah.
Especially audio recruiters, we find out where to find the lap time. Turn 6, the car is not turning at all.
Turn 6.
And that's at Lesmo, that Leclerc's car's not turning in. Yeah, you were with me at Le Mans, Josh. And Megan and Ian Birch were commentating on the
5
qualifying.
5 a.m.
Yeah.
Literally did 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. or something stupid like that.
You did, yeah. It was a really bizarre weekend.
And then I had to leave to go to Brands Hatch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Too much. Although we're nearly over the season now anyway. I think, I've only missed 2 F1 seasons this year. 2 F1 sessions this year, and I think that was Azerbaijan qualifying and Hungary qualifying due to clashing events. I can't think of any other I've missed.
So Russell should be pushing. We're doing a big, cool. Russell close behind. Big, cool. MFB green position.
Yeah, I don't think I've missed any other session. I think I've been there for every one. And I think I will be there for every single F1 race next year as well. Go on, Josh.
Horses. Yes, horses got on the track at Snetterton.
What? How? Snetterton is... To get on the track at Snetterton is impossible. We've been there. How did they go on?
And people joking, saying a bit more horsepower. I know riders occasionally say things like, we need more ponies, but this is too far. Is it a 2-horse race for the championship?
Motorcycle versus horsepower, that's more fun. I'm trying to actually think of how they got on the circuit, because there is a massive field, but quite hard to get on the circuit. Anyway, that's going to be interesting to see. Last minute then of practice 3 for the Italian Grand Prix here at Monza. As it's felt a bit more business as usual today, which is a weird feeling, but still, it's good to carry on, as the British would say. Gwenwyn says, well, it's a 2-horse race, but one looks like a donkey. As Blackpool Beach says. Okay, wrapping up the session then. Synthol, what have you made of this practice 3? It's been a nice one as well, just to get everyone's eye in again.
Yeah, it's just a lot of speculating about qualifying, because it's going to be a bit useless, of course. The back of the grid is already sort of confirmed because of all the penalties. But maybe it's more the teams who don't often get up high up the grid can have a good opportunity now, of course.
And we'll do another check between turn 7 and 8. So strat 5, and then you can go to gold 1 out of turn 7. You can use your energy bump.
Vettel.
Perez is pushing 7.5 seconds behind.
That was Vettel. Go on, Synth.
Yeah, I'm just going to be looking at Nick de Vries, and furthermore I'm going to see what's going to happen with all those penalties. it's all a bit confusing again.
Checkered flag is out. He ends this session a fraction behind his teammate Nicholas Latifi. That is impressive. Latifi, I would be feeling extremely worried if I was him, because De Vries is about to come in and blow him away. Who are the drivers getting a full grid penalty? Pretty much everybody. Go on, Josh.
They entered the track from a video, it looks like, at Agostini, which makes no sense because that's the paddock.
How do they get into the paddock area? Literally, to get into the paddock, you've got to go over the track itself on a bridge. So that's a bit bizarre. Okay. Who had horses in the paddock? We need to know. In terms of the drivers who've got penalties, Ocon, Magnussen, then followed by Verstappen, Perez, Bottas, Sainz, Hamilton and Tsunoda. So Sainz, Hamilton, Tsunoda, Ocon and Magnussen are back at the grid starts. 15 places for Bottas, 10 places for Perez and 5 places for Verstappen. That's the grid penalties at the moment. They're the 8 as everyone now takes the checkered flag. Verstappen ends the session fastest for Red Bull. First time he's topped a session this weekend, and this is Mick Schumacher into the Rettifilio. Actually making the corner, so what happens? Takes the curb and nearly loses it, actually. Wow.
Yeah, just a bit too much curb. Which is still going to be scary for Formula 3 and Formula 2, of course, those curbs. We've seen it already this weekend a few times, like in practice and qualifying. That just bounce over the curbs and get airborne.
Massively so. So Alonso P5 as well. Megan's just texted me saying she's very happy about that as well, because technically that would mean he starts second on the grid if this is the race, because it's Verstappen, Perez and Sainz with penalties. So Alonso will start second alongside Leclerc.
Does Verstappen still have a chance to start within the top 5?
No, 5 players grid penalty, he has to start 6th or better. It's 6th.
Yeah,
it's 6th
not like that he's going to be dropped back 5 positions and that then Sainz gets dropped back so he can gain that position again. Or?
Sainz is back of the grid, so I don't think that will affect it. The only one he could is Bottas. He's 15 places, but I don't think so. I think Verstappen at best can only start 6th tomorrow. I think looking at the screens, yeah. And this is Lando Norris.
I thought I heard someone say that, so it's just all a bit confusing.
Lando Norris giving a little wave there to Carlos Sainz on the back straightaway underneath the old bridge. Nice wave to his golfing buddy there as well as they come into it. Ted.
In terms of setup for the whole session, after Fernando did that first run about 10 minutes ago on the soft tyres, he came in and then did make a further setup change. So clearly they're getting the car absolutely right, just to where they want it, and it has pace. So watch out for Alpine later on in qualifying today. I'd say they go into the session on quite a forward foot. I think they're in good shape.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Thank you very much indeed. Ted, practice starts then on the grid as the drivers are allowed to.
Yep, practice starts on the grid taking place. I honestly thought qualifying was at 2. I don't know why. It's because last week in the Netherlands it was at 2, wasn't it? So it's
I was confused by that. Why was it last weekend?
It's thrown me a little bit, that. Because I just put qualifying at 2, but no, qualifying's at 3. So yeah. So I thought Max only got a 5 place grid pen. Yeah, Max. But if he starts on pole, you drop 5 places back. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you don't start on pole. You don't count first as one position. So it drops back. So you dropped up to 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. 5 places. So it's backwards. I know. I always get confused about that. Start on pole. Surely that means if you're 5 place grid pen, you start 5th. But no, it's the other way around. Anyway. Here's the results then from practice number 3 for the Italian Grand Prix. It's Max Verstappen is fastest, Charles Leclerc goes 2nd, Sergio Perez goes into 3rd position. 4th for Carlos Sainz, 5th for Fernando Alonso, 6th place for Lando Norris, 7th George Russell, 8th Yuki Tsunoda, 9th Esteban Ocon, and 10th for Lewis Hamilton. Second half of the page as well, it is Zhou in 11th. Pierre Gasly is in 12th, Nicholas Latifi 13th. Look at that now, Nick De Vries 14th, just behind him. Danny Ricciardo is 15th, Valtteri Bottas 16th, Sebastian Vettel is 17th, 18th for Kevin Magnussen, 19th for Mick Schumacher, and 20th for Lance Stroll as well. Not a bad session out there at all, guys. So, since you sticking with your moment of the session?
Yeah, well, I suppose it's going to be Nick de Vries going off to the gravel. That's basically the only thing that really happened in this session.
And Josh, what was yours?
Yeah, like every single other session this weekend, not much happened. So I'll probably go with Nick de Vries' debut in a debut weekend for Williams.
Sounds good. Yeah, right.
I don't even know what else to say.
I know, it's all a bit out there. Here's our coverage news and we'll be back in an hour and 40 minutes time, so you can set your alarm for 2:45 British summer time, 3:45 over in Central Europe. We'll be back as well tomorrow for the race as well. That will also be live as well. We're on air 1 p.m. British time, that's 2 p.m. Central European. Don't forget, we've got Formula 2 sprint and feature race, and then the Formula 3, the last race of the year, coming up tomorrow as well. My thanks to Synthel, my thanks to Josh, and my thanks to you all at home for joining us for our coverage here today. We'll see you later for qualifying. Bye for now.